Okay, so I'm gonna do this for y'all because I love you. But I'm actually starting just a little bit east of Cheesman Park, almost at Colorado Boulevard, a little bit north of Cherry Creek. So I'm starting just on the south side of the block of Colfax. I'm on 14th, and because I was coming from Cheesman Park area, so the National Jewish Complex, Health Complex, is just to the left of me here. So I'm going to take a right here on Colorado Boulevard. So as I mentioned, I'm at Colorado and 14th, and I'm going to do this for y'all. I'm going to drive all the way down Colorado Boulevard at lunch hour to get to 25 and down into DTC because I've got to head back to my office. This is one of the few roads that I just avoid, and you're going to see why. It is 11:45 on a Friday morning, or Friday midday, I guess. Let's see, July 1st, 2022. And Colorado Boulevard carries a lot of north-south traffic. So essentially you've got I-25 on the west side. You have a few other north-souths that can cross Cherry Creek going up to Colfax. Colfax is a major east-west through downtown and out to the east side of the metro and into Aurora. Colorado Boulevard is one of our major north-souths, and so it kind of goes on the east side of, the downtown, what I call the park neighborhoods: Wash Park, Platt Park, Cheesman Park, City Park, Park Hill, all of those. So because it is summertime, we don't have school traffic, which helps a little bit, but we do have a lot of tourist traffic. And I'll put some links down below to other neighborhood tours as I do them in these videos. And I don't do the downtown neighborhood tours quite as often as others. I do them when I'm driving around and I actually have the phone battery. I've been doing a lot of video showings lately, which has been sucking my phone battery. And so I'm going to try to get a second, like an actual camera. I didn't think I would do this much video where I would need more than a phone, but it looks like I'm probably going to. So as I do more of those neighborhood tours, I'll put them down below as far as what the neighborhoods are like around in this area. As I mentioned, Cheesman Park, we're going to go south, and, well, we're not going to go as far west as Wash Park. We're going to stay on the east side. So Colorado Boulevard, we're going to go past Montclair area, and not directly through it because we're further west than that. But Glendale, which is really common for people relocating here, young professionals looking for apartments to rent and things like that. They're close to Cherry Creek. And then just here, so this is going to be Cherry Creek area, like the neighborhood and stuff is going to be off to the right here, a little closer down to like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And we're a little bit further north than that now, so. But you'll see we've got Trader Joe's. Things on Colorado and 8th is kind of a little hub here for some businesses, some mixed use, so retail and live work buildings on the left side, and then apartments up above. And Einstein Brothers Bagels, Chiba Hut, Starbucks. Well, there used to be Chiba Hut in here. Did they move? I don't see them. They're in here somewhere. Congress Park Tap Room is a new one. I thought that was the Chiba Hut. I hope they're not gone. Anyway, and then whatever this Swing Thai is. So, but lots of little independent restaurants, some chain restaurants, Postino on the left, Hot Daddy Burger Bar, or Hop Daddy, sorry. Snooze is over on the left, Trader Joe's is on the left. So, just lots of walkable things in this immediate area as far as restaurants and things like that. But crossing Colorado Boulevard, I mean, people do it all the time at the crosswalks and things. There's Chiba Hut. It's right over here by the Chipotle. Little sandwich shop. And there's a Misi Italian restaurant. And here we get into some old money Denver neighborhoods and closer to Cherry Creek. So, price point in these homes, if you're east of Colorado Boulevard, here at like Colorado and 6th and the neighborhoods in there, closer, to the Lowry side of things, not quite in Lowry, but in this area between here and, Montclair and Holly and things like that, you're probably talking entry price point around 800 or so right now, and that's going to be for a really small house that needs some work. It's not going to be totally dated. I mean, if something just needs to be torn down or gutted, you're probably close to like 500 to 700 for the lot value, depending on the size of the lot. So But there are some really, really nice, I call them estate type properties where, you know, they're a third of an acre or larger for an in-town property. That's a pretty large lot. Or some of them even a half acre with, you know, brick surrounds, monuments, really, really old classic money, really nice homes. So those are going to be along 6th and, you know, just along the main drag there. Those are going to be like 1.5 and up. And this is July of 2022. The smaller neighbor homes in that area, for the ones that have been renovated and updated, are going to be low to mid 1 millions. And then the higher end homes are probably maybe 2 million plus. For the west side of Colorado Boulevard here in kind of the North Cherry Creek neighborhood. And those are going to be a little bit less. I'd say maybe 200 to 300K less as far as and smaller homes. You're not going to have the larger lots, but you'll have some really, really nice scrapes and modern homes, as well as a lot of original brick Tudors and Victorian homes and things like that along the way. So, but as you can see, and then Cherry Creek Shopping District is off here to the right. So for 2nd, 3rd, and then Cherry Creek, we'll kind of drive by and you'll see that area. I wanted to show you, start a little bit north of there in case you need to work in Cherry Creek or work in DTC and you kind of want to see the areas that are immediately around that. And that's where I was driving from, so that's where I started it. And you can skip through and do whatever the hell you want, of course. So Cherry Creek's going to have a Cherry Creek Mall and Whole Foods and a whole bunch of, you know, they've got the farmers market on the weekends. It's kind of our higher end posh retail area that's not downtown, but is in central Denver. So that's going to have your really fancy stores too. I don't know. I don't shop fancy. I'm a TJ Maxx home. Well, I don't want to sort through the stuff at TJ Maxx. I'm an ARC shopper. I like going thrift store shopping, you know, home goods. I live down in the burbs, right? So I can appreciate a lot of the, you know, downtown luxuries and things like that, but that's just not my vibe. That's not who I am. I have a lot of clients that's what they like to do, and that's cool too. If you take a left here onto Bayou, that's going to carry a decent amount of traffic and go right around the park here, because people are going to take that to Leetsdale and then head southeast. So then you're going down into South Denver and Aurora and Centennial and Parker, and down towards that end of the metro. So I have a drive to that I'll definitely link down below, coming from Arapahoe and Parker Road. So kind of that North Parker area or East Centennial area, driving all the way into Cap Hill and central Denver. So I'll link that down below. That's going to be a roughly 40-minute commute, 30 to 40 minutes, depending on which way you go. We're going to go the other way because I said I love you, and that's, you know, taking Leetsdale. If I were to head to that part of the metro, that's where I'm going to go. Here, I'm going to go down to my office in DTC, and which is off Bellevue and 25. And so you will see, I wanted to show you this main drag of Colorado Boulevard, just commute-wise, what it's like. So here at Alameda, a lot of restaurants, some shopping, but mostly restaurant and lunch stops, because off here to the right is a good chunk of like the Cherry Creek business district area. So here in the, you know, the 3-4 blocks west of here. So you can see it's just, I mean, like I said, it's lunch hour, so I would expect a little bit heavier traffic coming and going, and it's a Friday, and it's a holiday weekend. So we'll kind of see what shakes out. Given that, I actually kind of expect the traffic to be a little bit lighter than usual, because work-life balance in Colorado, in Denver in general, is not, it's better work-life balance than a lot of other major metros. I would say people move here because they want to live here, not because they want to work themselves to death here. And coming from the Dallas area and, you know, living and working in the Houston area for a short period of time, it's a very different culture when it comes to work-life balance. People do not work to live, or live to work, they work to live. So for the workaholics, you're going to sound like, I mean, you're going to be the rock star, because most people aren't willing to do that, because that's not why they live here. They want, you know, they have the appropriate balance where they choose to have that. And I think generationally, that's definitely becoming more prevalent as well. So I will say Colorado Boulevard's not as bad right now as I expected. I expected it to be a little nastier, but I think it is because it's a holiday weekend and it's a Friday and it's summer. So school's out, people are out, people have already gone on their trips. They've already taken Friday off. They went places yesterday. So I think yesterday probably would have been a little bit more traffic. We do have the Target, the Chick-fil-A, the Starbucks, the Walmart, Starbuds, of course, you have to have your dispensaries and everything. Shotgun Willie's, which is its own thing here in Glendale, which is kind of a weird. Anyway, that's our strip joint. I'm pretty sure that's the only one in the major metro from a current legislation perspective. That's the only one allowed because Glendale is its own little city and they have their own little set of rules. So they recently added the Starbuds, the dispensary, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, maybe 5. Oh God, I don't know how long ago it was. But when I moved here, they did not have a dispensary attached to the strip joint, but now they do. So, or adult entertainment, or whatever you would like to call it, which is fine. And then Cherry Creek is here to the right. Not just Cherry Creek itself, but the Cherry Creek Business District area. And go on, Tesla. Yep, you have torque. You can get where you need to go. And thanks. That's all right. I was nice. That was my fault. I've mentioned in my other videos, we have very, very short yellows. So I know most people don't pay attention to that. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, everyone runs red lights. Yes, a lot of people run red lights. A lot of people run them because the yellows are ridiculously short. A lot of other people run them just because they're like, well, everyone runs the lights anyway because the yellows are short. And they just keep going forever until the people with the green right-of-way traffic actually start driving into them. So it's kind of weird. Just an adjustment as you go through. And I'm sorry, guys, I am heavily caffeinated and overdue for a meal. So I'll try to slow down because I'm just talking really fast. And I'm killing time in the car. I'm already on an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes in the car this morning. So, because I'm just driving around town today. I got to stop here and pick this up, stop there and drop that off, go see these people, have this appointment. And I like to be respectful. So the people that I have appointments with today, sometimes I will take car appointments as far as phones and things like that. On my Calendly link, I do have a Calendly link if you'd like to, ask me questions, pick my brain. It's going to be calendly.com/RealtorStacie, and maybe I'll start putting that in the description down below. It's on my website for sure. If you'd like to book time. And so I have the quick question option of, hey, 15-minute phone call. And that's what I do during my drive time if I'm not shooting videos or listening to books and podcasts and things like that. Because we do spend a lot of time in the car, obviously, given what we do. Yeah, there's a lot less traffic here than I expected today. Sorry, radar detector, I'll unplug that for y'all because it's kind of obnoxious right now. Definitely because it's holiday weekend. Man, y'all got the light version. This is going to spoil you because if you actually move here, you're going to be like, man, the video didn't show that many people and Stacie wasn't just sitting in bumper to bumper traffic. Yeah, because it was Friday on a holiday weekend. Everyone was already gone. So this is the best case scenario for Colorado Boulevard so far. As we get to 25, it'll back up a little bit more, but guys, this really isn't that bad. A Whole Food Market and Home Depot and stuff on the left, Mercedes-Benz of Denver, all the restaurants and things along the way. I don't know if the Marie's Empanadas is still in here. Oh, that's a little bit further south. I don't know why people in Denver love their Einstein's bagels for some reason. I don't know. I guess it's a thing. We still have a Barnes & Noble. We have a couple of them. So there's one over here on Colorado. There's another one down in Southeast Aurora at Southlands. There's car dealerships here along Colorado Boulevard, older strip malls, larger shopping centers kind of mixed within, a couple of hotels. And then to the just east of all of those things is going to be Glendale apartments and things like that. And then you get into some of the South Denver neighborhoods. So, what else can I fill y'all in about? Anybody who watches these, please comment down below and let me know if you actually sit and watch the whole thing or if you skip through them. God, I would hope you skip through them. Or maybe you just turn them on in the background to get a true feel of what it's like to sit in the car and commute. I just talk because I'm a talker. Like I mentioned in many of my videos, this is one of my versions of free therapy or cheap therapy. And I want to give y'all a true picture of what it's like to actually, how long it takes, what you're sitting in, what you see along the way, what kind of traffic there is, how people drive, and all that kind of stuff. We do have, depending on what part of town you're in, and, some homeless or transient population, and depending on the weather, then, we see more of that, especially in certain parts of town. But honestly, you see that down in the burbs too. You see that all the way down in Highlands Range. You see it up in Westminster. You see it all over the place. It's just going to be more concentrated in some areas than others, obviously, that have more public transit access and that kind of thing. So, Wahoo's Fish Taco off on the right side. Coming from the south, I didn't know what the heck that was, but it's actually pretty good. A little, seafood taco Mexican place. Well, Mexican's a little optimistic as far as what to call it. But there's a few of those around town. You can see. So this is why, even though, and like I've said many times, this is not bad. like traffic-wise, I would expect more cars and more people. But you can see, you go a quarter mile, you sit at a light. You go to a quarter mile, you sit at a light. When you've got the buses, as far as, you know, public bus system that's coming along here with it, then that clogs things up a little bit too, because then they're making stops, you know, at all the bus stops here about every block or so, or a couple blocks. So I'm going to get over, and they're going to need to get over, because we're all going to need to go up to 20. Oh my gosh, this isn't bad at all. I'm looking and seeing the traffic up here 2-3 lights ahead. This is not bad at all, guys. So this is a best case scenario. So if this kind of stuff, you know, sitting at light and going through stop and go traffic and stuff in town kind of kills your soul, like I said, it's going to get worse, and it usually is worse. And this is moving really well. Usually these lights are just kind of solid, and it's like herding cattle through these things. So, and I can jump over here because I'm going to have to get on 25. So there's a couple lanes that go for 25 as we get up here to Colorado and I-25. And then we'll get to go on the highway. I know. We have those. They hide well. But we do have highways here. Not many of them. Which is why we have a lot of roads like Colorado Boulevard and Parker Road and Leedsdale and Arapahoe that carry the traffic of highways without the efficiency of highways. Just because of how Denver was developed, and it exploded in growth, and our infrastructure has not kept up. So I love it here. But if you want to, you know, here's my, you know, reasons not to move here. If you don't like sitting and stop and go traffic, it will be painful. And that's why I shoot these commute tour videos for y'all, because coming from a place that, when you're coming from a metro that has major highway systems very well developed, even if things are really spread out. So I can't talk to Chicago or LA. LA is its own nightmare of traffic. I don't even want to act like I have a clue how bad that is. But I've lived in Houston, I've lived in Dallas, and I grew up in Dallas, actually in Grand Prairie between Dallas and Fort Worth. So, you know, growing up in Dallas, the way the highway system and the DFW metro infrastructure is set up is very much like you ballpark a mile a minute. So it's like, hey, somebody lives 15 miles away. It's going to take you roughly maybe 15-20 minutes to get there. And that's how you estimate how long it takes to get places. So they need to go, I don't know where they need to go, but I don't know if they need to know where they need to go. No, they don't. So there's one lane that goes 25 north. There's 2 lanes here that go 25 south. And I am not up for the torture of driving all the way down Colorado Boulevard and taking Yale or Evans all the way across to get down to DTC. Sorry. I volunteered for that small amount of torture, which I said is significantly better than I was expecting it to be. So, I'm a very optimistic person, except when it comes to Colorado Boulevard and going down 6th and, trying to exit or get onto Santa Fe from 25, or get onto, 25 from 6th Avenue headed east. So there's a few places in town that I'm like, it's just going to suck no matter what time of day, no matter when it's going on, unless it's dark and everyone's asleep. Then you can see the other side of 25 is kind of a mess. That's depending on the time of day. And this, like I said, it's noon on a Friday. So, and yeah, we have the stoplights that kind of back up the traffic on the on-ramps and stuff. And we do not have frontage roads. So if you're coming from the south and frontage roads, we don't have those here. You have your on-ramp, you have your off-ramps. A little bit more, I think East Coast is pretty similar to that for some areas. Depending on where you're at, of course. So yeah, I mean, some major metros where you have a highway system developed and you're just like, oh, it's, 15-20 miles away, it'll take 15-20 minutes. Nope, not the case here. And I did not know that when I was moving here. So when I moved, I'm like, well, everyone's like, oh my gosh, Lakewood is so far away. I mean, and I'm looking at a map, I'm like, guys, it's like 16 miles. What's that, what's the big deal? I mean, in Texas, you live 15-20 miles from your best friend, because it's not a big deal. You hop in the car and you're both there in 20 minutes. Or you can meet for lunch somewhere in a 10-minute drive. Here, it's, I would say, average 3 to 4 miles a minute, depending on how you're getting there. So if you can take a highway system and it doesn't look like the other side of the highway does right now, and like I said, noon on Friday, holiday weekend when most people are already gone. So if you, if you don't have a highway system, I'd say plan 3 to 4 minutes per mile. So like if you have to go from Westminster down to Littleton, that one might not be as bad because you can go straight down Wadsworth and Sims. On the east side, we don't have those east or those north-south main drags. We don't have more than one. We don't even really have one. Anyway, or if you're going from, I'm trying to think of other neighborhoods, like Thornton down to South Denver, you could probably take 225, but that's going to be a little bit of a mess. Or if you're trying to take anything east to west on the south, south of 70. So if you're trying to go from East Aurora down to Littleton, that's a gnarly drive. If you're trying to go from Lakewood to DTC, Parker to Lakewood, Parker to Golden, anything like that, where you have to go across the metro, it gets messy. And so I'd say plan on, 3 to 4 minutes a mile. So I know going from like Parker, North Parker, over to Lakewood, even taking some highways, is going to take me 40 minutes, maybe 45. If you're dealing with downtown and drives and stuff, depending on how quick you can get on and off the highway, that may or may not be a little bit worse or better. So, and of course, that's all traffic dependent and kind of what happens on the day. But here we're going down to DTC. So Bellevue is kind of the north end of DTC. Some people say Hamden, I guess. When I say South Metro, I kind of generally cut that off. It's Hamden and go south. But it totally depends as a general rule. But DTC is going to be kind of the north end of the Denver Tech, or Bellevue is going to be the north end of the Denver Tech Center. So you can see we've got more apartments, more condos, more mixed use, more business, and lots of people come into DTC area to work. I do not include Inverness in the DTC area. So that is one thing that I have found from many of my clients that are relocating. They're like, oh, well, I'm working in DTC. And I was like, okay, roughly where? Give me cross streets, because different people call it different things. And they're like, oh, I'm going to be in Englewood. I'm like, okay, Englewood is 3 different parts of the metro. Englewood can be South Broadway, Englewood, and I need to be in this one. Englewood can be Inverness, Englewood can be almost Parker. And those are all very, very far apart in very different areas with different lifestyles and vibes and cultures and home prices. So, and then some people consider like Arapahoe and Lima as DTC, which is kind of the south end of DTC. But Inverness, which is going to be your business complex area that's from like Dry Creek and 25 down in the, I guess, northeast corner of I-25 and 470. So if you take Dry Creek to get in there, or if you're I think it's like Briarwood, or if you're south of Arapahoe, in that area, that corner, I do not consider that, and most people do not consider that DTC area. I mean, maybe like South DTC, but a lot of people relocating, their employers say, oh yeah, we're in DTC, but when you live here, that's another 15 minutes down the road. So, and sometimes it comes with less traffic. So people that live or that work in Inverness, if they want to do a 20 or 30 minute commute, if they're okay with a 30 minute commute, Castle Rock is a great option. That's well within that. South Parker, Crowsfoot, all of the developments down there, Stone Creek, Franktown would be borderline, depending on how you drive to work and what time. So, and those are boonies, Franktown and Castle Rock, not Castle Rock right now, but those are very, very, very far south end metro suburbs that a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, but if you're actually in Inverness, like up here at Bellevue, then there's a lot more traffic here at Bellevue and Orchard and I-25 and more businesses and things like that. And that starts to be like the 45+ minute commute, depending on traffic, right? So that's where when you're moving here and you're talking to me and you're calling me and saying, hey, Stacie, I'm moving here, I'm relocating for a job, I'm going to work here, I'm always going to ask you cross streets or give me an office address. I know when you say a general area, or, we've been talking to people, or you saw it on a map and that's what Google said is the map area. That's not always what we call it, and that's not going to give me enough information to get you plus or minus 20 minutes on a commute, because I want to make sure I'm not signing you up for an extra 15 to 20 minute drive every day, because that can be a deal breaker for a lot of people. So understanding those areas. So here I'm turning left and going south on Quebec, and my office is going to be in here in a minute, so you'll see me pull into that. Here on the left, I've got Landmark is behind all of this stuff, and where everybody turns left in here where that Tesla's going. So that's going to be I don't think I've done a video on Landmark. Maybe I should. Retail restaurant area. I think there's an upstairs circus in there. There's a Ted's Montana. There's some really nice like mixed use condo. There's good breakfast places in there and lunch places. So for a lot of the DTC stuff, that's kind of a lunch spot, a quick lunch spot. And so But yeah, so when you're talking to, and here's the actual, like, the landmark sign. I mean, I didn't even know this was called Eastbury Avenue, and I drive by it every day. So anyway, when you're talking DTC, make sure to give me a cross street when you're relocating here. And you're saying, hey, I want to be X minutes away from work or something like that. I need a cross street to make sure I'm giving you accurate information and appropriate neighborhoods that will give you that commute time that you're looking for. So anyway, if you need a agent, here I'm going to park and we'll catch up. Alrighty, so I'm parked and stopped. But if you are moving to the Denver metro area and you would like to reach out or have questions about particular neighborhoods or commutes or anything like that, I do this for a living. I absolutely love my job. I have many, many, many clients that have reached out to me looking for this type of information, as far as what commute times are like, what neighborhoods are options for based on that commute, or what lifestyle, what culture you're looking for, and things like that. And I would be happy to help with that information. I had someone reach out to me yesterday that had seen some of my videos here and wanted to speak to me next week about some of the options of the cities that might make sense for what features and what commute times and things like that they're looking for. So please feel free to do so. My contact information is down below, my phone number as well as email and that kind of stuff. You can always check out my website. I have some more information there. I'm going to do some more building out on that here in the future. I'm a one-woman show right now, so I will get to it when I can get to it. And yeah, if you need a me in another area, or you're moving from another area and you need good recommendations for realtors where you're coming from, please reach out to me. Everybody usually knows a couple of realtors. I just want you to have somebody that's a good fit for you. And if you've watched any of my videos as far as, good realtors versus bad ones, or picking them or interviewing them or anything, I'm a huge fan of making an educated decision and having enough people that like, and trust to make a good decision for someone that would be a good fit for you. So please feel free to reach out to me for that. I have a form for that down below. Feel free to click that, and that'll give me the details that I need to help find you a great agent in your area. I have an awesome network. I think I'm up to like 250 agents across the US. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help. So thanks so much for the time, and y'all have a great day.